Recently, I've done a few cat scratchers based on internationally known landmarks, and today I'm doing the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So I start by chopping up an existing 3D file, making holes for a tube to go through it, and for the top to be able to sit within inside the tube. Then I send things to my 3D printer, which makes them. Mostly came off good. So I've test fit the pieces, and then I begin making the base, which is just drawing out a circle on a scrap of plywood and then cutting it out on the scroll saw, which ultimately probably wasn't the right tool for this, as the cut quality wasn't very clean, and I ended up having to recut it with the router and a jig. I only made that initial cut halfway through, and then I flush trimmed the other side to get it even. The smaller plug side I cut on the scroll saw and then smoothed out and bring to final dimensions with a belt sander. This way you get a really tight fit. I give everything a good sand before I put a coat of white paint on the bottom. The best way to attach a cat scratch, a hanger bolt to the bottom of the pole part, and then a little T-nut on the base insert. So I didn't leave any clearance for the glue, and I wasn't able to get the first one together properly, and so I had to reprint that, and the second one went together a lot easier. Brad nails probably also wasn't the right choice, as they leave fairly big holes that had to be filled in the 3D print. And then it was a fairly simple process, but tedious, of using some glue and a stapler to sort of roll the rope up and attach it. So with the tower finished and the base ready, I can add a little artistic flair and try and recreate the tile pattern that's at the base of Pisa after I give it another coat of paint. And so for the prototype, I decide that I'm just going to paint this by hand. I get out the ruler and a compass and sort of divide it out and do a decent facsimile of that pattern, but a little bit smaller. It doesn't look like it's leaning enough. Well, it is. I put it on the most lean way. I stick a straight edge up against it. That's an angle. That's not straight. Oh, I mean, the right is, but the tower isn't. Done. So the prototype went out for testing, and what we learned is the base is too small, and it fell over. And when it falls over, it cracks. So we're going to reprint the top with slightly stronger settings, and we're going to make a bigger base, and then we're going to see how it goes. Making the new base is about the same as the old, except this time I used MDF, which is heavier and I think is actually going to be a good thing. So making the parts more rigid didn't really help with the braking problem. What I ended up doing was printing a little TPU bumper, and that absorbs the impact, kind of like an old iPhone 4 case. And so then I go into full production. I end up making 4 of these.
How many are you making?
4.
Wow, it's bigger. It's a little taller, it's wider, and
About 30%
much
bigger.
taller. Yeah, because it's on the base.
Yeah. So it's going to have its own cap, and so that'll bring it up to
Its own base, yeah.
probably, at least 2 foot. So then it's just a matter of doing the assembly. It's the same as before. Glue, except this time I use pin nails rather than brads, and they don't damage the 3D print very much. Getting the plug set right is a little tricky because the base of the tube is cut square, but the bottom of Pisa is at an angle. Some of the tops go on pretty easily, and they're just secured with pin nails. Some of them need a little more persuasion. And I didn't throw out the original prototype. I just gave it the Anne Boleyn treatment and gave it a new head. This one was handed out to a 6-month-old ginger cat and broke it in about the first 90 seconds. And so, even with the TPU bumper, if you hit it hard enough, it can break. But the bumper doesn't, and it encapsulates all the pieces, so they're not accidentally going to be chewed on or eaten. So for the final production, I put away the craft supplies and ordered a custom rug with a design that I made on the computer. And it was surprisingly cost effective to order one of those online, and it gives it a really professional look. I forgot to do it on the first one, but I did go back and paint the edge of the MDF white so it matched the rug. And here I'll show you the little trick I've found to putting perfect holes in carpet for making these things. You take a blowtorch and you heat up a piece of plumbing pipe, and then just punch it through. It melts a perfect round hole. And while the contact adhesive probably was sufficient, I added a few carpet tacks, sort of following the pattern in the sort of tile, and it ended up looking good. And then we can deliver it to the clients. And they love it. Although that young ginger does think it's more of a treat ball, and to this day is still trying to find ways to destroy it, but he hasn't managed to do it yet.
I love having salad for lunch.
He's gonna knock it over.
It's not heavy.
Well, heavy salad might as well be a casserole. So, how are 14?